today we are going to be making a seafood casserole. It's really tuna casserole with a twist, but I call it seafood casserole because it has more than tuna. So that's what we're going to be making today. It's my husband's favorite dish. I absolutely love making it, and we're going to go ahead and get into it right now. Right here is my ingredient list. These are all the products that I use. I use the rotini noodle pasta as well as breadcrumbs. I use mushrooms, cream of mushroom, olive oil. I have a tuna here, a minced fish, as well as my seasonings blend, which is paprika, garlic, Italian seasoning, salt-free Tony Sachet, and Old Bay. Also, I have some peas. These are my cheeses that I used, and some onion and green onion. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we have our pasta done. It's a little bit overdone, but that's okay. Okay, so our pasta is strained and ready to go, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and just set that aside while we work on our sauce. Now, we have a pan here, hot and ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and add some olive oil to it, probably a little bit over a tablespoon of oil, and that is extremely hot. Go ahead and turn my burner down just a tiny bit. So now that that is hot and going, we're gonna go ahead and add in our mushroom. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take our white onion. So we're gonna go ahead and just do quarter of an onion. I have my mushrooms going over there now. Hopefully they're not burning up, but I have my mushrooms going now. So I do want you guys to know that when you're cooking, you're going to make mistakes in the kitchen, and that's perfectly normal. We are not professional cooks, but we do want to make gourmet meals. So that's what we're trying to achieve today. So I have my onions perfectly cut up. This is the size I want, thinking about the size that I would want to bite into. So I'm going to go ahead and take my onions and add them to my mushrooms that are already in the pot going. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in. So the mushrooms, onion, and add a little bit of green onion. We want to use green onion for garnish as well, but we also like to add green onion for extra flavor. Absolutely can cook with the white part of the onion, but I'm just not going to use that today. So we're just going to go ahead and take some of this green onion. We're going to set a portion aside that's just for garnish. And like I said, we're going to cook with some of this. So, all right. So this is a decent amount of green onion. And go ahead and add in about half of the green onion. Also, while this is cooking, we're going to go ahead and add in our spice blend. Garlic, paprika, Italian blend seasoning, some salt-free Tony Sachet, and some Old Bay, about a little over a tablespoon of each. So we're going to go ahead and add the full spice blend in now. And we're going to go ahead and mix that. Let that go for a little while, let that cook down. And then we're going to add in our shrimp. We have our seasoning blend, our onions and our mushrooms, and our green onion in a pot going. We do want to get that translucent like it's going right now. So the onions are translucent, everything is good. And we're going to go ahead and add in our raw red shrimp. Just a little bit. We don't need a lot. And we're going to go ahead and cook that in as well. We want to make sure the shrimp is fully cooked before we add it to our pasta dish. So we're going to let the shrimp and the onions and all that cook down. Keep this set aside. So while that's cooking, what I want to do now is go ahead and get my cheese prepared. Honestly, all of my cheese is really good to go. It's shredded. The only cheese that I have to do anything with is my Gouda cheese. I want to get it down to a small cube so that I can make the cheese sauce, and it's just, you know, easier to prepare for me. Okay, so we have the shrimp and all the veggies and everything, well, most of the veggies in the pot is going. The shrimp is fully cooked. We're going to go ahead and add in our albacore tuna. This is a fully cooked tuna, but I only add it in so it can get all that good flavoring on it. And this is a hot dish, so it's okay that the tuna is getting cooked a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and mix all that together. It only needs about a minute. You just want to make sure that the tuna is coated with all of the luscious goodness that's going to be in the casserole dish. Okay, So now we're gonna go ahead and add the peas, all right? So the peas, again, this is a fully cooked item. It doesn't really need to be done anything but heat it up. So we're gonna just add it right here at the end, toss it with all of our meat and veggies. Now, we really just wanna make sure all of the flavor touches everything. Everything's good to go. Now, if you are low carb and you're really not wanting to do a pasta, you could actually just make your cheese sauce and this blend, put it in a baking dish, and you're good to go. If you don't want to have those extra carbs, or you can even do a cauliflower if you wanted to do that instead. We're not doing that though. My husband wants the full enchilada, and that's what I'm going to give to him. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pull this out. We're gonna remove all of this goodness, put it into a bowl, set it aside, and work on our cheese sauce. All right, so we have removed the shrimp, tuna, and veggie blend with all the good seasonings. We moved that out of the pot, but we're going to be very, very judicial, and we're gonna use the same pot that we used. So we're gonna go ahead and take about 2 tablespoons of butter, maybe a little bit more. Butter's never hurt anybody. I mean, it has, but you know, everybody loves butter. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and let the butter melt. What we're gonna do now is make the roux for our casserole dish. So once we get the butter melted, we're gonna go ahead and just add in some heavy whipping cream. It's the only product I forgot to mention, but you cannot make casserole, macaroni, or anything without heavy whipping cream, okay? It is necessary. All right, so I got that. We're gonna be adding in this cream of mushroom with roasted garlic, being a little fancy, and our cheese blend. So our cheese blend includes smoked Gouda, it includes triple cheddar, and it also includes Emo's cheese, which is a Provel cheese. That is a St. Louis style cheese, okay? It is not made anywhere else. It is often duplicated, but it really cannot be imitated, all right? Really? Did I say that right? Y'all know what I mean, okay? you know what I mean. All right, so now the butter is melted. We're gonna go ahead and add in our heavy whipping cream. I would say about a little bit more than a cup. You decide. That's the thing about it when it comes to cooking. I'm not really a measures girl. I'm more of a how it feels, what it looks like, what am I going for at the moment type of person. I really don't pay much attention to measurements like that. I'm just not that kind of cook, and that's okay if you're not that kind of cook. So we're gonna go ahead and blend everything together. Another reason why we want to go ahead and use the same pot is because we get a chance to get the rest of those seasonings. We want to get all of that goodness in here. Of course, we're not over seasoning because you really do not want a salty dish. We don't do salty, okay? But we do want to make sure that it's flavorful on every single layer. So now that we got the butter and the heavy whipping cream going, once it starts to bubble up a little bit, that's when we're going to go ahead and add in our cream of mushroom and add in our cheese, and we're going to just make it all delicious and smooth and good to go. So let me let this go for a couple of minutes and I'll be right back. All right, so our butter and our heavy whipping cream is now bubbling up. So we're going to go ahead and add in that cream of mushroom at this time. Please be careful because it will splat back up on you. Don't nobody want no hot butter and you know, goodness just popping up on their face. So we're going to go ahead and add that in, and we want to get it smooth, so we're going to make sure we blend it in properly. Alrighty. This is literally a really big part of this dish. The cream of mushroom is very important for this dish because it just kind of pulls everything together. Honestly, when I was a kid, I didn't have tuna casserole. It was not a dish that my mom made, primarily because we were not seafood eaters in my family. But when I got with my husband, this was something that he absolutely raved about all the time. And he had this simple casserole dish that was super good. But you know, women, we like to go ahead and do a little razzle dazzle, fizzle dazzle. So I was like, let's go ahead and add in some other things to it. One thing that could not be changed was that cream of mushroom. It was necessary, okay? All right, so now that you see the sauce is looking all creamy and good, that's just the beginning, okay? But once it looks like this, that means that your cream of mushroom is blended in properly. So we're gonna go ahead and put our cheeses in all at once. It's fine. You can place them all in there. Just place it all in there. About how much cheese? I would say maybe 3/4 of a cup of each cheese. It depends on how much pasta you're making. It depends on how cheesy you want it. So now that we have all the cheeses in, what we're gonna do now is just take it low and slow. We want to turn the burner down just a tiny bit because we really do not want to burn this cheese. We want to give it a chance for all of the cheese to melt in and blend in properly together. Now, if you're looking at your sauce and you notice it's like just a little bit too thick, you can always add in regular milk, a whole milk fat. I use 2%. You can add in a 2% milk, or you can put in more heavy whipping cream. Do realize that the heavy whipping cream makes it heavy. But look at that. It is not even fully there yet, but oh my goodness. Like, y'all, this is going to be so freaking good. So let that go a little bit longer. Make sure all the cheeses are blended in. And what we're going to do next is we're going to add in all of that meat and that blend right here. We're going to put it back inside of the cheese. Okay, now if you did not want to be extra and bake yours like mine, you could add in the meats, the pasta, all into one pot, and you're good to go, ready to feed your family. But we are going to add the green onion, mozzarella cheese, and some breadcrumbs on top, and we're gonna bake it. Yeah, I said it, we're gonna bake it. So it's like a tuna casserole bake. You know, you normally do bake casseroles though, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you wanted to skip that step, your kids are at the door and they're saying they're hungry, throw it all in the pot, mix it up, they can eat. But because we're extra, we're gonna be extra, okay? So now we're gonna go ahead and take that meat, mushroom, veggie blend. We're gonna add it to our cheese sauce. It looks so good already.
Might need some milk.
You think it needs milk?
Just a little bit.
I don't think so.
Because you're going to want it to travel throughout the
noodles?
The noodles.
I'm telling you, I think it's going to be fine.
All right, well.
All right, so everything's blended in together now, okay? Everything's blending in. Look at me. All right, so we can go ahead and turn the eye off of that. Your blend is good to go. So we're going to take that cooked pasta that we had earlier. So we're going to go ahead and add in our cooked pasta to a greased or buttered baking dish. I did go ahead and leave a little bit of pasta water just in case the cheese sauce was a little bit too thick, okay? So what we're gonna go ahead and do now is pour that cheese sauce in. Pour it in. And we're going to mix it up. So we're gonna add it all. It looks like it's overfilled, I get it. But we're gonna add it all. And we're gonna mix it up really good. Make sure we get all that lusciousness in there. Make sure everything is blended and evenly distributed throughout the pan. Okay. We're gonna just clean up our dish a little bit, and then we're gonna add the toppings. All right, so we have our clean dish with our tuna casserole in it. Like I said, if you wanted to stop right here, you absolutely can, but we're not going to. We're gonna go ahead and add in a little bit of topping on there, make it look, you know, pretty, nice blend of colors, and just also add a nice bit of extra flavor. So mozzarella is a good topping cheese to me. It doesn't really have a lot of flavor, but it does kind of pull everything together, and it really looks good when it's browned. And we're gonna put a decent amount on top. You don't need too much because you already have a really cheesy blend. So we're gonna go ahead and spread that out all over the top. I'll take that. All over the top of the pasta. Then we're gonna go ahead and take us some croutons and just kind of crush them over top. Now, granted that I could have prepared this and put them in a bowl, but I didn't, and my daughters have been sneaking in here eating croutons, so. But we're gonna go ahead and crush them over the top. Okay, so now we have the breadcrumbs judiciously spread across there. I had to put them away before my girls dived into them again. And now we're gonna just go ahead and take our green onion and place it on the top. So now that everything has been assembled together, we have our casserole ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and place this in a 400-degree oven, probably for about 35 to 40 minutes, but please be sure to check it about halfway through just to make sure it's not bubbling over, your cheese isn't burning. Like I said, this is literally make it however you like. So let's go ahead and put it in the oven and we will check it out in about 30 minutes. Our casserole is done, guys. And we did let it sit for a couple of minutes. It's really, really hot. And honestly, when it comes to this casserole, once you pull it out the oven, you want it to set for probably about 25 to 30 minutes, covered up, just setting, because you want everything to kind of just gather up and soak up and all that. I'm gonna go ahead and cut into this and show you guys what it looks like. Oh my goodness, y'all. Oh my goodness. That luscious goodness. Nice and cheesy, golden and delicious. Add a little bit of Italian blend just for garnish. And let's go ahead and give this a taste. I know it's still piping hot, but let's just taste it. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but beep beep. It's really, really good. Nice and cheesy, not too cheesy. And you get a bite of the shrimp, the tuna, all of it. It just comes together really, really good. You can absolutely substitute this dish however you would like. If you want to use a different pasta, you can. If you want to use canned chicken, you absolutely can. It's a versatile dish. Make it your own. I think your family would absolutely enjoy this dish. Go ahead and give it a try and be sure to let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Forever Sade Cooks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember to be blessed and you definitely are fruitful. Bye.